Okay, hello everyone. This is Sharonda, and this is my podcast as well as my YouTube channel, Spiritual Sense. And as I mentioned, I was going to speak on the Clair Senses today, so I'm going to go ahead and get into the Clair Senses. What exactly are the Clair Senses? Well, it refers to spiritual enhanced psychic ability. I think we all have these at one form of fashion, is what I think. Um, in this life experience. So we're going to go into what they are: clairvoyance, clairseeing, clairaudience, clear hearing, clairsentience, clear feeling, clear cognizance, clear knowing, clear aliens, clear smelling, and clear gustance. So I think in regarding the different clairs, clairvoyants as mentioned here are visual learners, daydreamers, dreamers. It refers to they prefer charts, graphs, or art, prefers maps over written instructions, is what they have indicated on this website here. I have a couple of websites pulled up. Clairaudience. With clairaudience, uh, oftentimes through music, beats, and tones, and listening to a song, God gives them inclination, clear feelings, the ability to sense and feel the energy and spirit of people. This will all oftentimes be referred to as being empath, clair cognizance, the ability to know something with utmost certainty, like you just know. It's just a there's no thought. God would just put it in you. You would just have a immediate no. Now the clear aliens. Now I've seen this in the past referred to as something else, but it says involves fragrance, cigar or cigarette smoke, food, anything floral. I want it also to be known that this is apart from like somebody smoking or cooking or something and you smell or what have you. I'm talking about like, situations where a thought is triggered by way of, let's say, your grandmother's, baked good peanut butter, oatmeal cookies or something, and all of a sudden you begin, and no one, you're not in an area where someone is cooking anything of the sort, and you're able to instinctively, by spirit, can pick up on these things, and these are the things that God will convey to you in relation to everyday life practices, is what I mean. Now, the next one is clear gustance, clear tasting, certain dishes and desserts, wines, tobacco, things of that sort. So that's basically what that website has. I have a PDF pulled up here. So it goes on to mention about clairvoyance, clairseeing. Clairvoyance or clairseeing is the most visual of all the clairs. You receive pictures in the form of images in your mind. They may be vivid dreams, visions, mental images, and many movies. You may be able to see colors of auras. Images may be literal or metaphorically. You may be inclined towards this clear if you are a visual person and offer visual solutions to problems. You may be good at directions or visual spatial problems. So that's what it mentions here in terms of clairvoyance. And we have clairaudience, clear hearing. Clairaudience or clear hearing, you are able to hear voices or messages from the spiritual realms. You may hear them in your ears or your mouth of God chakra. That's what it has mentioned here. So an example is you may be driving and suddenly you hear turn left, even though you are the only one in the car. You may be inclined towards clairaudience if you are naturally attuned towards sounds, music, or toning. I'm going to tell you, you're not crazy. And you'll begin to hear spirit, you'll know spirit, and it will present itself as such. You will know what you know, what you know. And oftentimes people will refer to that as mental illness. Look, I'm gonna tell you what revealed to me about mental illness. It's a battle in the mind to get you to believe some things that are not true. And God will give you that sensibility. Okay? The next one we have is claircognizance, clear knowing. Claircognizance or clear knowing is experiencing a sudden knowing. You know it to be true in your mind's eye, even though you did not hear or see it. It may be a stroke of instant insight or a download. This clair can also manifest as instincts. Of course, I mean, words just can't explain it. If there's no thought, there's no nothing. It's just an inner knowing. It's just like, yeah. Now, this one here mentioned about clear intellect, clear thinking. Clear intellect or is clear thinking. This happens when your thoughts can manifest as your intuition. You may notice in conversation that your words come through, and although it seems like thoughts are words from a higher source of consciousness, this can manifest as having epiphanies commonly. You may be inclined towards clear thinking if you are very left brained and a linear thinker. So oftentimes, um, I have had over the course of my years epiphanies where out of the blue it's like boom. It's like what? Why? And this is what's so significant about it. Like I just did the spiritual reading, and I said I felt as though you were being honed into the sciences because oftentimes God will reveal things to you. But in terms of epiphanies, it's just something that you don't think about or even care about. I mean, and that's how you will know what you know, what you know. The next one that I have here is clear empathy, clear emotions. Now, clear empathy or clear emotions is sensing others people's emotions, thoughts, or symptoms. It is an awareness of emotional energy. As an example, others crying might make you cry. It is important as a clear empath to understand how to balance your empathy, how to not take on the stuff of other people or walk into energy fields. The difference between clear empath and sentience is empaths sense the emotions and sentience physically feel it. So, as I mentioned, you will have the ability to uh, differentiate the difference and not to lose sight in identity, um, particularly if you are someone who perhaps are in another country or another space where it's foreign to you, and you'll begin to detect and pick up on certain energies as such. So you have to be in control of who you are to where you won't lose sight of who you are. It's the point. Now the next one is clairsentience, clear physical feeling. You actually feel the physical feeling in your body that others are experiencing. An example is if someone is having a stomach ache, you feel either pain or sensation in your stomach too. You may also be able to feel emotional injuries where they may manifest in the body. So again, you have to be able to differentiate your feelings versus others because it's hard. It could be very taxing and draining, to say the least. The next one I have is clairtangence, clear touching. You may be able to perceive facts about things or people by touching them. You may gain insight into people by touching their watch or their hand. And this is basically reference to my podcast episode as well as visual platform that I did about psychometry, where like an old ring from time ago or whatever the case may be, how it holds energy. Everything holds energy, particularly, certain objects, clothing, and things of that sort. So you'll begin to see that as such. Um, you can also be in a situation where you can take on someone else's energy and feelings and emotions and what they're experiencing and what they're going through as well. Now, the next one we have is clear aliens, clear smelling. Insights come through the perception of smell, such as smelling your deceased grandmother's perfume when there is nobody else around. These odors can also be perceived and not actually carry the physical sensation of smell. So, as I mentioned previously, smelling your grandmother's cookies when you know where someone could be cooking. I mean, these are sensibilities that God would give you to provide you some sense of comfort, to give you, in other words, He's honing your intuition. And oftentimes, these senses and things present themselves, particularly when you're in a state of disillusion or disbelief, or perhaps lack of trust, or when things are not quote kosher or right. So this is how He's able to hone your skills to where you're able to differentiate reality versus none. Like it's all real, but he will give you a sensibility as to um, the whole sense of it all. Okay. The next one I have is clairgustance, clear tasting. Clear tasting is sensing things through taste, even without having that physical source of taste in the mouth. You may taste the favorite food of a deceased loved one. Again, as I mentioned about, the smelling of your grandmother's peanut butter oatmeal cookies, or even taste them. I mean, I think we get this sensibility oftentimes when we have the desire to cook or eat on a day-to-day basis. Oh, I want this. But with Claire Gustance, it works a little bit different because if you are someone that, you know, go out to eat or something like that, go to a restaurant, dine out, or what have you, and it may be a situation where you have instinct to go get something and then boom, God wants to reveal something to you. So it works in that sensibility as well. Okay? So as I mentioned, I wasn't going to be on here long talking about the Clair senses because I do feel as though, by way of mockery, when a person don't understand what exactly is being conveyed, they will say something to denounce what is being conveyed in terms of the Clair senses. We all have these capabilities. Psychic ability is such as that. We all have psychic capabilities in this life experience is to bring some sense of clarity to you. Not to say that you're stupid. No, I'm not saying that you're stupid. What I'm saying is, many of the times when we're shielded from God and the capability and how He communicates to us, we just announce a lot of these things, and this is His way of conveying a message to us. This is His way of tapping into us in terms of intuition and things that He wants you to pay attention to. Okay, because I know it's, with this life experience, it could get very stressful, it could be bombarding, it could be overwhelming, and many of the times, even I, you know with the forefront of my this podcast platform and the YouTube channel and the Facebook Live with the whole paranormal, I have my days when I'm like, okay, I don't feel like being bothered with it. I don't want to hear it, even though I know what I know. And this is his way of reintroducing himself. Okay, I'm going to reintroduce myself back into your, because if you call upon my name, don't call upon my name in vain. I mentioned that before. Once you have received him and asked him to come in, step in, and guide your footsteps, he's going to do so. I don't feel like God will force himself on you, but if you do ask him to intercede in your life, trust and believe it, you have opened up a whole genre, a whole experience apart from this one. And it ain't something that you could just turn on and off, on and off. No, he requires consistency in it. It's similar to like your covenant, you know. Again, referencing back to my podcast episode as well as visual presentation about the Ark and the Covenant. This is your covenant, and this is what you need to remain consistent with. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and close out this presentation on the Clair Senses. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, or a topic for a future show, you're more than welcome to comment below. Until then, have a safe and wonderful day.